Really, just thank you for chatting to us today to kind of look back at DMP season. Just how have you been since the season ended? Kind of how's your recovery been?
Oh, well, it's nice to get a bit of recovery in. Obviously, very sort of mixed feelings about the end of this season in particular. Kind of didn't want it to end, but yeah, the body is definitely thankful for a few days off.
Just kind of quickly to give an overview of the season. How do you feel the season kind of went from a personal point of view, but also from a team point of view as well?
Well, I mean, to start with, the season happening for us at all was a minor miracle. It was to go from the start of the season, that time of a pre-season last summer where we genuinely didn't think we were going to get to play. So every every game has just been it's just been something to be grateful for. Really, this year it's been a season that we didn't think we were going to get the chance to play. Um, yes, it's not been sort of the perfect season in terms of. I think there are times when we feel like we haven't shown the growth that we wanted to. We haven't shown the improvements that we were looking to bring in from last season. But like I say, just the chance to stay on the pitch, the chance to show some improvement from last year, to still get to play together as a team, as a family, has been really important.
Yeah, how proud of you? How have you been this season? Kind of being part of that DMP team, kind of the last DMP team in the Premier 15s.
Um, immensely proud. I mean, it's a difficult one to say because to know that we are the last and to know that we didn't succeed in keeping it on and to feel like we've lost for the North for now. Um, Obviously, there's a lot of mixed feelings, and it's definitely hitting home at the minute. It's a team that, for me personally, it's more than a team. It is my family. There are girls there that I've played with for 8 years while I've lived up here, and they mean everything to me. And it's in some ways really, really exciting that I personally am lucky enough to have the chance to move on next season, that some of the girls are moving on and they're going to get the support that we really haven't had from the club because they haven't been able to provide and because of, wider situations. So it's really exciting that girls are getting those opportunities, but it's really sad that we aren't having those opportunities together. And it's sad to see such a like important player base of the Northeast lose that sort of elite flagship, as it were, is how I feel basically.
Yeah. And just kind of looking back at some of the highlights of the season, what would be kind of your favorite game or favorite moment of the season?
Oh, that's always a hard one. This season, there have been lots of downs. I mean, from the first game of the season, Sale away, bright, shiny, sunny day is always a good start. But putting points on the board for us, it was something that we hadn't done in such a long time. Just starting the season on that to get some points to get to play together. Obviously, the Wasps game at home, getting the win there was an incredible feeling. Um, Tries for some really important people. Um, Great boost with people joining us mid-season, people returning from other clubs, the stalwarts of the team, people coming back from injuries. We've actually been really lucky this season that lots of people haven't been out with injuries. We've had quite a lot of people dodge some pretty serious things. That's very waffly. Sorry, I've got.
Don't worry.
um, yeah, I think just at the risk of sounding very sort of philosophical and a bit like an Instagram quote. I think every week this season has been a highlight for me. Yes, there have been some games that we'll look back on and it was a hard ride. As Saracens at Billingham was definitely a long afternoon and not a best showing, but I think every game has really encapsulated the heart of the team, the heart of we fought to be here, we fought to be on that pitch, and so every game there's been something to take from it, whether it's been a one big tackle, whether it's been one consolatory try, whether it's been keeping their points lower than it was last year. We haven't had a single game in where we've lost by triple digits this year, which for other teams that's a terrible that's a terrible sort of marker of success. But for me, I think it just feels like we have grown, and it feels I've definitely felt the success this year. One personal highlight though will be the last game of the season ending on a try. Um, I will admit that was quite nice.
And kind of you might find it hard to kind of answer this one, but who would you kind of give as a player of the season if you had to pick one for yourself at DMP?
uh I mean, there's lots of names. There's um co-captain slash captain Kelly Thomas. Just the world wouldn't function without her. I know that I definitely don't function without her. It was very noticeable when she wasn't on the pitch. Players Chloe Broom, Kate Smith, Jazz Hazel. These are all people that you're going to see more of. You could name them all, but for me, the player's player, the player that will forever be. Um, she works so hard. She drives standards up. She picks you up when you're down. She keeps going. She is utterly relentless, and that's Lindsay Taylor. I am so excited to see where she goes next and how she continues because blimey, that girl doesn't stop. And if I was making a team, she'd be the first one on my team sheet.
And kind of what would you give a player of the season to kind of away from DMP and the rest of the Prem 15s? Who would the standout be for you this season?
Oh wait, so in the Prem 15s?
Yeah, in the Prem 15s, just not at DMP.
Oh yeah, I wasn't prepared for that question. There's
Sorry.
to be fair, like so so many. Where should we start? Give me a second to think about
No worries.
it. Oh, loads and loads of players. I mean, not to go back to someone who was previously DMP, but obviously Lauren Torley having the seven success, but having so much success with Harlequins is just outstanding. Um, I have to say, I mean, so many. Let's think. Why can you never remember you talk about this sort of thing all the time and then you get put on the spot and you can't remember. Um, I think I had one in my head the other day. I'm trying to think who I was talking to this about with. No, you're gonna have to come back to me.
No
I'll
worries.
I'll bring it
And
back later. So.
you kind of touched on it, obviously, yourself leaving at the end of the season. I think that's what you mentioned. But obviously, the DMP heading to the championship. How important do you think it is that they're going to be still playing rugby as DMP Sharks in a competitive league next season?
I think that's quite a difficult question.
Hmm.
Obviously, a big part of the fight for us of DMP was the badge in the Premiership, the fight that they had to be in the Premiership from the very beginning. Obviously 15 years ago, fighting to get back into the Prem. Well, yeah, fighting to get back into the Prem those years ago. Um, being one of the teams that's been in it since the start, so since the sort of conception of Tyrrell's Premier 15s, it's definitely it's going to be a big loss for the area. I think that in terms of DMP getting a place in the championship, I think it's really important that there is still something to fight for and something sort of that more elite caliber in the northeast. That there still is sort of a high level of rugby. I do think that in terms of the Sharks badge, I think that there will be a move away from that because obviously the way that sort of Sharks has left the Premiership, moving into the Championship, there are a lot of girls who have other sort of clubs to be allied with, both in the area in terms of homegrown, and just in terms of looking forward, it's the Northeast as an area rather than Darlington Mountain Park Sharks. I think at this point is what we're looking for.
Obviously, for yourself, moving away from club without revealing whatever you go in, just kind of what are your kind of future aspirations heading forward?
Oh, I'm just super excited to be part of such an elite program. I mean, the growth of the game is incredible, and I'm really, really excited to get to be part of that, to grow as a player. I've obviously felt really privileged to have been sort of given the opportunities as captain at DMP Sharks, as one of the more senior players, but I'm really looking forward to going into a program where um, the sort of professional setup is there, where I'm going to be um, really pushed by the players around me. In terms of personal aspirations, it's just I want to play at the best level that I can for as long as I can, and I'm really excited to go to a club that I think will continue to push me and develop me further.
Perfect. And just final question for you, just another kind of putting you on the spot. Just what would you kind of give as a three-word season review for this season, if you could narrow it down to just three words?
Three-word season review. I mean, it's definitely uh, this is potentially not the best word to use, but I think at sometimes it's definitely been a struggle. It's definitely been about heart, and for me, it just always comes back to family.
Perfect. So thank you so much for chatting to us today. Good luck for next season, wherever you may end up, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you soon as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.